I went to London actually. This was in the drum and bass days.
Right. Remember One Nation?
Yeah, I actually used to go to One Nation.
For real?
Yeah. I used to go. This was before I went to London. I used to get a coach to One Nation and world dance, and I used to go to Jungle Mania.
Yeah.
I went to roast a few times at Adrenaline Village. Like I was young,
yeah.
I had a fake ID.
For real, man was doing it.
And there was these two guys from Bristol from the ends, and they were called Sam and Cecil. Right. And they arranged coaches for people to go down.
And do that.
And I was just underage, and they took me under the wing.
That's dope.
And it was mad. I used to go with this girl called Marsha, who actually got married to Skibbity.
No way!
Yeah, and they had a kid. Obviously, God rest his soul.
Rest in peace, Skibber, man, legend.
Yeah, so rest in peace, Skibber. But yeah, that's when I started raving, and then off the back of that, I moved to London and went to graphic school in London, which is funny because everyone went to London and everyone was into garage and that. And it was kind of cool. And then I got a job working. Actually, before I left, I jumped the gun, and then before I left, I was working and flyering for this drum and bass jungle night in Bristol called Drive By. Which was run by Gerard originally, and then later a guy called Alistair. And they saw me as a youngster, being around and just like hanging out with everyone. So they started getting me to flyer. So I was around all the jungle DJs at the time, whether it's B-Ronnie Size and Crust and all that lot. Because obviously before then you didn't have social media. So I used to go around skating around and
the good old days.
And you see your pals, and they'll be like, maybe like popular kid or crew, and you give them like you give them 2 free ones, and then you would give them 10 half price ones.
Right.
You know, so they had so it's kind of like a VIP card or something.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And then I would give them around, and then you see some fly girls, and you link them up, and then and then that was my first job there. I remember the first time I went to World Dance. Like I was so young, had this fake student card to get in, and my friend who drove used to drive to the end of my road, and I was in my mum and dad's house. I had the front room, where the living room would be. And what I used to do is I used to put my TV on and just leave it on, and then I put all my pillows in the middle, and I'd just set out and then hop out the front door. Not even the front door, out the window. Right, and I'd leave it on the latch. I would leave at like 8 p.m. And I'd jog down the end of the road so my folks wouldn't hear. And then I'd get in the car, and I remember going to Milton Keynes for Dreamscape one time, and I remember going to World Dance in Kent. Far.
Yeah, for real.
From Bristol.
For real.
So what we did is we went there, and I went with this Chinese guy called Ho, and my other friend called Dharma, and they were all like 19, 20, and I was just this youngster. Do you know what I mean? But I was so into it. And we would have to like leave at a certain time, because they'd be like, we have to get the youngster back. Right. Before his folks would wake up. So they would and then they would, then we would go 3.5 hours down the motorway, and then they'd drop me off at the end of my road, and then I would like,
run back up.
It'd be 8 a.m. and it'd be 8:30, 8:45. I'll be like, and then
as the door opens, I'm just waking up now.
No. And then my mum would go, do you want breakfast? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. So and then I would come in and I would eat breakfast with my mum and then go back to bed. Right. And my mum, I don't think she clocked it. No. But what I worked out is I could eat after partying. Right. At the start. I could never do that now.
Yeah, for real. Trust me.
But I think my mum would never clocked it, because she thought if I'd been raving all night, that I wouldn't want to yam like I was yamming. So I was like, come back and I'd eat a full English. I'd be like, and then I'd just go to sleep all day. And I did that for a good while. Yeah. And then I guess going back to London, I moved to London when I was 19. and I started working for a drum and bass night in London called Movement.
Okay, I think I've heard of this.
And it was at a club in Piccadilly called Bar Rumba.
Yes, bruv, I have heard of this.
And my first job for them was to flyer similarly to what I was doing for the club night in Bristol, down in Bristol. And they were all linked.
Yeah.
And the guys that used to run it, there was two guys called Oliver and Ado, and they used to run the dance. And then they had two resident DJs who also run the night, and it was Jumpin' Jack Frost and Brian G.
Right.
And they also run V recordings, like massive jungle.
Sick,
drum bass
I got Bear there.
Record label. So I worked for them for like 2 years or something whilst I was studying.
Okay.
And they actually gave me my first opportunity to DJ.
Right, I was going to come on to this.
So my first opportunity to DJ. Bar Rumba was like originally a bar and a restaurant. It was kind of like kind of like a Mexican restaurant. Or iguanas, or you remember like one of them iguanas? So you can get like some fajitas or something. And then at like 9 o'clock they used to have a DJ in the bar.
Right.
And then at 11 o'clock they'd open the club, which is further back.
Right.
And then Goldie would play, or you know, like people that was happening then. And my first sort of introduction to DJing was to play in the bar. And I'll play from 9 until 11.
Right.
And it's crazy at the time. A lot of the other artists coming through were like Example,
for
Jason
real.
Status,
For real.
Alex Perez, you know, and they used to come down and see me DJing, and they'd be like, oh, you know, like, and everyone would be vibing, and that was kind of my first introduction to DJing. I was playing drum and bass, but my job was, I was a warm-up DJ. I played for an hour to 2 hours, and my job was to warm the dance up, was for them people who were coming through the door and they wanted a margarita or a Corona, and they wanted just to jam. They didn't want to hear anything banging, they didn't want to hear, so my job was to do the warmsy.
For sure.
That was my thing. So it was mad at the time because I was flyering for them. I used to go to all the record shops because that was my job, was to drop flyers.
Right.
And at the start it was funny. I used to go to like Black Market and all of them big record shops, and it was quite daunting as a youngster going there, because you'd go there on a Friday night and you'd see all the big dons.
Yeah, for real.
Whether you were in Garage House or D&B,
they're all about it.
They were all there, and Nicky Black Market would be there, Spoonie would be there, you know, like, and everyone would be there, like shouting. They'd put a tune on the deck, and you'd be like, "I want that song," or "I don't want that song," and everyone would be fighting. So there was 10 promos or something. It would be like arms who were to get it.
Word, bro.
And
those days were so fun, bro. Because because what I was going to say, when you were talking about the record shop, right, and how you were around all the people, it was similar for me, but down in London. It was Big Apple Records in Croydon. It was Hatcher, Artwork.
Art was there.
Bro, and I met Benga there, I met Scream there, before they were like, you know, who they are today, bro. And it's that vibe. It was a vibe.
It's a community.
Yeah, for real.
A record shop was a community. Going back to Black Market, it kind of colluded with them asking me to come and DJ at the bar at Bar Rumba at Movement.
Right.
And me going to record shops and ironically spending that money that they were giving to me on records. You know. My other job also,
£7 a record.
Mad. But my other job at that point was they were looking after DJ Marky. I didn't know if
Marky? Of course, brother. Of course.
So
LK.
Yeah.
Come on.
Tell you a story about that.
Brazilian man then. Shout out to my Brazilians. Come on.
No. So one of my first jobs was to kind of not to look after Marky, because Marky was a grown man as much as me, but but my job was to like hang out with him, and we used to go and cut dub plates at Music House, and we used to just hang out, and it was mad times, and like, so I was involved in the drum and bass scene in London in that pinnacle era. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
for real.
It was mad. Like with LK, I remember him having the original DAT of that.
Right.
And he come to my house and we got lean in it. And he forgot the DAT at my house. And I remember Jumpy Jack Frost ringing me up going, "Oi mate, you got to bring that to the cutting place now." And I was like, rah, I don't even know that I had it. And it was a bag in the corner of my house. And we just been jamming on the decks like for the last 2 hours before. So shout out Marky, man. Original dub plate that was.
For real. That's mad. With that guitar lick on it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was proper, but I guess that was my introduction to DJing, you know, and then obviously I used to come back to Bristol and play at that original night that I started cutting my teeth at. The original night was called Drive By,
right,
and that was based in Bristol,
okay, cool.
and Movement and Bar Ramba was based in London.
Sick.
I don't know if I've answered any of your questions.
Yeah, no, loads, brother. It's good. It's nice. It's funny talking to you, bro, because we were living similar like upbringings. Because I was a skater as well, but not skateboarder, inline.
Oh right.
I was always at the skate parks as well. Hip hop guy from the beginning, and then all my family are all house.
Yeah.
So back in like the 90s and that, my uncles were in Ibiza all the time.
Wow.
Carl Cox DJ'd at my mum and dad's wedding. I'm seeing him in 2 weeks actually.
Wow.
Yeah, but Carl was like the biggest influence for me, bro. And like you, seeing these guys, you're like, rah, these men are just normal guys from South London, like from the ends.
Yeah.
And they're now like Carl is Space every weekend. Do you know what I mean? Like he was everywhere, bro.
One of the biggest inspirations as a younger coming through is to meet someone on the street and be like, "Oh, you know what? You can do this."
Yeah, for real.
It's just a matter of putting two and two together and making it happen, you know. And I think I was lucky enough to have that. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people now that don't have that, and especially with everyone looking at their phone so much, it's kind of hard to have that face-on-face time.
Yeah.
And I think face-on-face time within your community and linking with like-minded people is really important.
So key. I agree, bro.
And I think that's something needs to come back.
I think so as well, bro. That would be great.
And I think there's a lot of things that I guess we're kind of jumping forward now. But that's how sometimes the conversation goes. But I see a lot of conversation going on about the phones and about the communities and about how people come to dance together, and how the community, there's a lot of people looking at phones and being on their own. Dance music and dancing is not about being on your own.
For real.
It's about your community and it's about your surroundings.
100%.
Like today, I woke up and the first thing I saw on my Instagram, on my algorithm, not even on my Instagram, was about 20 DJs or people on their Instagram playing records in their bedrooms.
Right.
And I like it, but also I think, it's an interesting thing to be playing a record on your own to a camera.
For real.
And I guess it's just so different to where we came from. And that for me, I went to a record shop and sometimes we'd fight over one record.
Now just go on Beatport.
And then off the back of that, you would take it home in your bag and you wouldn't show anyone. You would be like, you got your white label.
Yeah. Don't even write what's on it, innit?
And even the fuckers, you sometimes would either cover it up or you'd write a different something on it.
100%.
You'd be like funk up or something, or wail on it, or jazzy or something. And
my boys used to come round and be looking for. I'm like, bro, don't look for my records, bro.
And then you'd be playing at the dance, and people would be asking what that tune was. Yeah. Because obviously there's no Shazam.
No Shazam.
So you'd be looking at it, and people would be going, "Oh, what's that tune?" And you'd be like, you wouldn't tell anyone.
Nah, for real. That's your thing.
Yeah, because you want your set to be exclusive.
Exactly.
And then now I'm seeing, I guess I'm just getting old, and I was on Twitter earlier chatting to loads of people about it, and and they started talking about that guy Fish Octagon. Is his name Fish Octagon?
I don't even know, bro.
He's basically a guy. Apparently, he was in marketing,
right?
And he's a record collector, and now he's on Instagram, and every day he plays like 3 records,
right? Okay.
And now he's a famous DJ,
right? Okay.
And he's getting booked all around England, and he's got a massive following,
right?
And I was like asking people why is everyone all of a sudden showcasing their record collection like constantly on Instagram, and I was like, yeah. I mean, whatever works is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not fronting on that. I'm not hating on that. I was just, I guess, looked back on it and I was like, I kind of wish that I could go and see all these DJs just playing them records instead of like talking about them. Like, oh my God, look, I've got this record. Like, I want to go to a dance and hear that record and be like, oh wow, what was that record?
What is this?
Like, I want to go and buy that record, and then finding out that I can't buy it on Beatport. I'm gonna have to go and actually find it. I have to go to Discogs and spend 50 quid, or it be like £10, and then the import is going to be 50 quid from Japan. But then I will have that record and I could go play it. Do you know what I mean? But I guess I'm old now, so.
But bro, like that's how it was. Like, I feel like music, especially with, I think TikTok paved the way to make people's attention span decrease to 15 seconds or whatever it is. Because back in that day, like, music was very exclusive. Do you know what I mean? Especially if it wasn't exclusive, it was an actual exclusive. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't get that anywhere because it was exclusive. Nowadays, an exclusive is a waveform. Do you know what I mean? A file. And once, like, for example, on vinyl, there'd be limited edition, and it would be limited because you could only physically buy it.
300.
There you go.
Yeah, it'd be 500, and then they would sell it out.
That's it.
And then they would build a hype again, and then they would shot another 300.
Yep.
And then you ain't got it.
There you go.
And then now it's on Discogs for like 500 £500.
Yeah, for real.
Because there was a limited run.
Yeah.
But now that exclusivity
has gone, bro.
It's nearly gone.
Yeah.
Obviously, those 2 clips went viral last week. The Circa Loco clips. There's 2. I don't know if you saw them or not. But there was one in 2008. Someone playing on the terrace, and obviously there was no phones. And someone dropped a banger, and everyone. There was obviously someone with a VHS or original digital camera,
proper,
and they all went around the crowd, and literally everyone in the dance, there must have been like 3,000 people, were just all like just going mad, hugging, kissing, drinks flying, and it was a moment. And then there was the Michael Beebe moment where he came, and there was
DC-10.
there was no one not with their phone up, and they were saying, like,
it's true.
And I guess I replied saying it. Obviously, the fact that Michael Beebe's gone through what he's gone through, that's like,
for real.
He is blessed, and we are blessed to have him doing this thing.
Word. But
on a greater scale, ravers are there to party together. And the way that the tech firms have scoped it into us, in that you're not there unless it's been everything's recorded.
There you go. Yep.
And within everything being recorded, no one's actually having a dance. We're making dance music for people to dance together.
Yeah, for real.
I'm not making music for some guy to go, I was at DC-10. I'm making music for people to go crazy and to hug each other and to show emotion and to be like, I had the greatest time in my life. I want to have, so people can have greatest times in their lives, and that they didn't look at their phone or whatever, I don't know. I guess that's being I guess that's being romantic, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's just times have changed to the point where that now, because I'm even guilty of it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that is what is normal now. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to do all that shit because, as you know, like back in them days with, Ronnie Sires, Ed Solo, Brocky, all the big, all them lot. They Goldie, we didn't have social media then, innit? And they still blew up. But as time has gone on, it seems that like record labels have got more and more involved with, DSPs have got involved.
It's tech firms. It's not even...
It's tech firms,
It's not like those tech guys are the music guys now.
Yeah, for real. But they're not music guys. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what's tricky, that we're playing for them.
Yeah.
They're not playing for us.
No, word.
And I'll tell you a story, like when I first started, what I would do is, I guess this is interesting for people coming up, watching the difference in it.
Yeah.
Like I would write a tune in the week, so I'd start on Monday and Tuesday, I'll collect my ideas, my samples and whatnot, right? And then on Thursday morning, if I thought it was good, I'll play it. Right. And I'll play it at the dance, wherever it be. If I was lucky enough to play it at Fabric, then I'll play it. And then I'll come back and I'll be like, oh, what did it work? How good was it? Should I have done the drop here?
Right.
Should I have put some white noise on the drop? Or, or should I have a hi-hat or shaker at the drop? And then after that, I'll be like, okay, cool, it works now. Get the mix a little bit tighter. Then I would send it to someone at radio. How I got Bassline signed originally is that I sent it to B Traits.
Right.
And B Traits, I guess, is kind of what Jaguar is. The same sort of thing as what Jaguar did. And she was really, really feeling Bassline. And then one week Pete Tong was sick, and then B Traits stepped in last minute, and she played Bassline as like one of her first songs.
Boom.
And Andy Daniels, A&R, originally used to work for Defected and now works for FFR.
Right.
And Simon Dunmore were driving back from a gig or driving to a gig, and they heard this song and they were like, oh wow. In the morning, I got a DM from Andy Daniels on Facebook.
Right.
And I got that back, and that's how that tune got signed. But after that, I would write a song in the same way, in that I would write it, I would play it out, test it out. If it worked, then I would send it to a radio, to Annie Mac. I'd send it to Annie Mac.
Right.
I was lucky enough that started linking up with Annie, and Annie really, really loved what I was doing and supported me from the start.
Sick.
So what I would do is I would just go straight to Annie.
Yeah.
I'd write a song, I'd have a good idea, I'll play it out in the club. Play it out in the club first.
Mm-hmm.
That's key.
Test it.
Because you want to test it. You don't want it to go straight to radio, because you're writing dance music. You're writing music for clubs. And then Annie, if she liked it, she would text me back or email me and say, Ads, I love it.
Yeah.
Cool, can I play it on the radio? And I'll be like, yeah. It's not signed, I haven't chatted to a manager, I haven't chatted to agent, nothing. I wrote it in my bedroom, played it at the club, sent it to Annie. Wow. Annie would play it.
A&R's hit you up.
Monday, Tuesday, every A&R would be like, oh, what's that tune?
Banging.
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
What samples it got in it? Has it got any samples? It hadn't got any samples. Bang, bang, bang. It was like there was no.
That was the process.
It was so direct and so straightforward.
Yeah.
It was like.
Do you see how you're saying that A&Rs would hear a tune on Annie Mac's show or B Trait's show and be like, right, wait for the artist name. Right, that's who we need to contact. Then hit you up on Facebook.
Yeah.
I feel like now that shift has also changed. Would you agree? Because now it seems like they'll wait for something to go viral.
But as what we said, the tech guys running the thing. It's not... Us music man are just bent over it now. Because it's not... Like, even the A&Rs, they ain't really like... If you're looking at TikTok, you're not... Like, again, we need to go back to... I might sound old and aged there, but like, if we're writing dance music should not be coming out of some person's iPhone.
Word.
If we're writing dance music that we want to be popping in DC10, it should be coming out of the thing. So if the A&Rs want to get a fresh, amazing Ibiza record, say your Cola or whatever, you need to get that from... A&Rs need to be going to the parties.
Word.
They need to be... I'm not talking about IMS.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about AD, which is like a busman's holiday. Yeah. I'm talking about, go to the dance. If you like that Chris Dussy Boiler Room, don't wait there and see what happens on TikTok.
Yeah, for
Go
real.
to the dance.
Yeah.
And see what tune's popping off. I keep hearing a lot of podcasts and a lot of people going, oh, we haven't had a summer hit. I mean, maybe Peggy Goo was the nearest one we've had.
Right.
But we have, since Cola, we haven't had when did Cola come out?
Time ago.
We haven't actually had a summer hit. And the reason I think it is because all the A&Rs and the industry is looking too hard on tech.
Yeah.
The tech man is teching and they're all looking. Yeah. No one's actually at the dance.
It's seeing what's popping off and
I want to see A&Rs at Glastonbury. I want to see the A&Rs at Circo Loco. All there at the front, going, what's that tune? Or going up to the DJ and being like, what's that tune?
Yeah, we like this.
That tune's gonna be the tune of the summer.
Yeah.
And then I think we will have another Cola. And
maybe Roberto Soares with Joyce.
Joyce.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that's it.
But nothing, and maybe the Peggy Goo one, like you said.
Yeah, but again, the reason why everything is so disposable, and the reason why everything is so, why we haven't had that Cola hit is because of that.
Yeah.
I urge the A&Rs to really be up front in the club, or if you're not inclined to be at the club, get a team of young'uns around you that are at the clubs because
for real.
I want to see that. I don't know if I answered any of them questions right.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We're just chatting, bro. I like it.
I just written baseline. Me and Alex. We were a duo. GotSome was a duo at that point.
Oh, okay, right. So it was two of the original.
Because Jeff had gone to London.
Yeah.
So I was DJing at this club 3 times a week, and we were just talking about having a manager, and I had this guy called Ross Patel. Big ups Ross Patel. Who now is a really successful manager as well. Okay. But he was like, oh, I want to manage you. And I was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. And I was like, the first goal is I want you to get us enough gigs that I can leave embargo.
Okay.
Because that was my bread and butter.
Right.
I was DJing there 3 times a week and I was playing Rihanna and I was getting some peas. So it was doing its thing, and Ross came along, and he sat down with his spreadsheet, and he was like, "This is how much you're getting, this is how much I'm doing," and then he started contacting, and again, that's a really good manager. A good manager is that someone who goes financially, and same as if you were working a 9 to 5, and you were. I read a thing about Hannah Lang recently. And she did the same. She was a dental nurse, and she had to realise how she was gonna cross over. Right. Give her day job up and become a professional DJ. Yeah. And I guess that's what I did. Is I told Ross this is how much we needed to earn for it to make it viable, and then we did it. And then what he did before I got an agent, we had this big record obviously at the time. Before I had an agent, we connected with a few agents and we said, this is what we're doing. And then my manager got me all these shows, got me all these shows. And then when the agent started seeing me at all these shows, she was like, let's get a piece of the pie because you're already doing it anyway,
Yeah, word.
And now it's ironic because I haven't got a manager and an agent, and I know a lot of managers and agents, but for me, I believe when the time is right for me to go on the road again or anything, people will come. You've just got to do what you have to be in all the places. Right. You have to do the gigs that maybe some agents can't get. And then if they see you playing at Glastonbury or at Boomtown and they're like, oh right, I tried to get my DJs on that stage.
Word.
Then then maybe it's time for you to come. Maybe not, you know?
Yeah, dope.